Hey guys, welcome back to Peyton Energetics. I'm Peyton, and today we are continuing our look into the different starseed races. So today we will be taking a look at the personality traits of Andromedan starseeds. So in the past couple videos, we have been working our way through the different starseed races. We have taken a look so far at the Pleiadians, the Sirians, and the Arcturians. And so today we are going to dive into one of the lesser known starseed races, which is the Andromedans. So we're going to be taking a look at the Andromedans themselves, what their civilization is all about, what their mission is, how they work with us here on Earth. And then we're going to take a look at some of the defining characteristics, or you could think of it as personality traits of Andromedan starseeds. But before we jump in, just to start at the starting point and mention, in case you're not familiar, what a starseed is, so that you know what we're talking about here. So a starseed is a term that has popped up fairly recently in the spiritual community, and all it is referring to is a being that is incarnated on Earth right now, whose soul originates from another star system. So a starseed is a little different than your average human in that their soul actually comes from another star system. So what are we talking about when we talk about different star systems? Well, the guides tell us that there are 6 or 7 star races or galactic civilizations that work most closely with planet Earth, that have helped us through our evolution, our development, even our founding as the modern humans we know ourselves to be. And these star races tend to be the ones that we are talking about when we talk about starseed races. So some of these races you might be familiar with are, of course, the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, who we will be talking about today, but also some of the lesser known star races, which includes also the Lyrans, the Vegans, the Orions, the Cassiopeans, and many others. And we will be talking about each of them in turn as we work our way through these videos and meet all of our galactic ancestors. So basically what a starseed is someone who has incarnated on Earth, but comes from another one of these civilizations. And the reason that starseeds are coming to planet Earth is to help Earth through the ascension process. So a starseed is here often with a very strong soul mission to support the ascension process in some way. And some starseeds do that by just being here in human bodies to hold a frequency. Other starseeds are here to work on the Earth grid system to help stabilize and balance the 5D grid. And other starseeds are here to bring higher dimensional knowledge and information to the collective and to the planet. So starseeds are often great healers, great teachers, because a lot of times they are bringing this amazing higher dimensional wisdom from their star home, essentially. So that is what a starseed is, in case you've had some confusion about that. A starseed, why they are different from the average person. It all goes back to the origin of their soul. So what we are talking about today then is starseeds who originate from the Andromedan system. So the Andromedan system these are one of the starseed races we don't hear quite as much about. So the Andromedan system is known to be, the Andromedans themselves are actually known to be the guardians of the 7th dimension. And they are said to be about 45,000 years ahead of us in terms of their technology. And the Andromedans are one of our rarer starseed races. And we're going to talk a little bit about why that is. But the guides tell us that there are only about 800,000 Andromedan starseeds on Earth right now. And one of the reasons for that we'll take a deeper look at later is that the Andromedans are such a high vibrational civilization, and they are such high dimensional and high vibrational beings that trying to take that soul energy and incarnate it into this dense physical body is really, really challenging. So a lot of times Andromedan starseeds do not fit comfortably in their human bodies. They can only bring a small portion of their actual soul essence into the incarnation. So the guides say that that is one of the reasons why we don't have as many Andromedan starseeds as we do some of these star races that are genetically and vibrationally more compatible with the human physical form, like say the Pleiadians or the Sirians, who count in the millions of starseeds. So the Andromedans, you're not going to encounter them quite as often as your Pleiadians and Sirians, but they are an important member of our star family. And it's really worth getting to know because it is really special when you get to know an Andromedan starseed. So when we talk about the Andromedans, if we take a look at the history of the Andromedans themselves, they are one of the star races that trace their roots back to the Lyran system. So as we have been talking about in several of these videos, the human form in our galaxy originated in the Lyran star system. And so as the Lyran system was kind of the origin point of the human form in our galaxy, over time, of course, the Lyran system suffered many debilitating wars, and the Lyrans and their sister star, the Vegans, spread out throughout the galaxy and colonized other systems. So many of the star races we're talking about all draw their original roots, their soul essences back to the Lyran system, with the exception, as we were talking about in the last video, of the Arcturians, who are kind of a special case. So the Andromedans are one of the star races who trace their lineage back to the Lyran system. So the Andromedans have been physically to planet Earth, unlike some of the star races. And when they came here, the guides tell us that they were mostly focused on research purposes. So when the Andromedans came to Earth physically in physical form, they did so to research our plants and our animals. They did not, like some of our star races, especially the Pleiadians, the Sirians, they did not tinker with humans. They were not interested in the human species, and they did not have a hands-on role in forming us, molding us, teaching and training us the way some of our other star ancestors did. So like the Arcturians, you can think of the Andromedans as being one of our hands-off galactic ancestors. And one of the reasons for that is that they are such huge advocates of free will. And that is just a foundation of their system, their civilization. And so they were not going to disrespect our free will as a species by interfering in our development. And again, we've been talking in some of these other videos about some of our star family who, through the best of intentions, usually really had their hands in our evolution, tinkering with our DNA, and caused them at times to overstep and maybe trump on our free will a little bit, to the point of interfering with our development. The Andromedans were not like that. So the Andromedans were very respectful of our free will. And so when they came to Earth to do their work, they were working with our plant and animal species, which of course this planet was so rich in that many star races have come here to use it as kind of a research laboratory. So again, the Andromedans, not ones to be messing with us in any way. They were one of our more hands-off ancestors. And the Andromedans you will often see with blue skin. And we have talked about several star races that share this tendency to have blue skin. We've talked about that with the Sirians and also with the Arcturians. But the Andromedans are a little unique in the reason why they have blue skin, and that is because of the copper content in their soil. So their blue skin actually comes more from the soil that they are living in their home environments, and not so much what you may see in the Sirians, who also have blue skin. But the reason for the blue skin in other star races is tracing their lineage back to the Vegan system, which Vega being one of the main stars in the old Lyran system. The beings in the Vegan system were known to have blue skin. And so this, again, as the Vegans spread out throughout the galaxy, colonizing the galaxy, a lot of our star ancestors will have blue skin, showing their Vegan lineage. But the Andromedans, again, being more of that Lyran Caucasian descent, have blue skin because of the copper in their soil. So you will often see them as blue-skinned beings. So Andromedans, if we were to talk about their physical appearance, they are one of our taller star ancestors. So we were talking in the Arcturian video about how often the physical Arcturians are only 3.5 to 4 feet tall. The Andromedans on the other end of the scale range from 7 to 12 feet tall. So very big, very dense, higher weight, several hundreds of pounds. So one of our larger star ancestors. And they are also said to be the most beautiful star race in the galaxy. And that is even in comparison with the legendary beauty of the Pleiadians. It is said that the Arcturians are the beauties of the galaxy. So that's something fun if you are working with Andromedan beings, to see if you notice and appreciate this incredible beauty they are said to possess. So some of the things that the Andromedans are said to really gravitate to, really be passionate about, are all things creative, scientific, research-oriented. So you're going to find this very much being a trait of the Andromedans themselves. And so you may see that spilling over into the traits of Andromedan starseeds, if you can find one. They're kind of hard to find. So again, anything creative, research, technology is going to be very much resonant with the Andromedan soul. So what are some of the things that you can look to as a personality trait that you may see in Andromedan starseeds? Well, some of the things that Andromedan starseeds are known for is, for one thing, being hands-off. Your Andromedan starseeds are not going to tend to be seeking the limelight, seeking to be the center of attention. They are very reserved, tend to be hands-off, standing in the background. And again, it comes back to this equality, this not wanting to interfere, to meddle, to overstep. So Andromedan starseeds are often a little on the more introverted side, a little more standing to the background, keeping to themselves, is very common with Andromedan starseeds. Another thing you will notice in your Andromedan starseeds, and we mentioned this earlier, is they tend to not like being in physical bodies. And again, this is because the vibration, the guides say, is just not compatible with the dense physical body. So Andromedan starseeds may struggle with their physical body, with health issues, with not liking being in a physical body at all, not liking the feel of this dense physical body, is one of those things that is one of the hallmarks of Andromedan starseeds. Another thing that you may notice with Andromedan starseeds is that they have a very intense energy. They may be nomadic, they may be those wandering souls that you know who don't like to be tied down, don't like to stay in one place. So Andromedans are very much liking to be on the go. They tend to be one of our less egoic of our star ancestors. So they, again, not seeking to be the center of attention, don't need approval from you. They are going to do their own thing. They're often going to be, again, we said wanderers, having that adventure spirit. They are also one of our star ancestors, like the Pleiadians, who are not fans of authority. So they are such seekers of freedom and equality that they are very often distrustful of authority figures, structures like government, anything that is bureaucratic, red tape, anything where there is inequality or rigidity or a lack of freedom, can tend to be very annoying to an Andromedan starseed. Again, they like the freedom, they are the wanderers, they are all about equality. And so anything that does not show those traits is tending to be not something that your Andromedan starseed is going to be a big fan of. So again, they don't like rules, restrictions, control. Any of that tends to be very grating to an Andromedan starseed. Andromedan starseeds, again, are also big proponents of sustainability. Again, we talked about this with the Arcturians, but the Andromedans are all about freedom, equality, sustainability in technology, in living in harmony with the planet. They are known to be great communicators. They are said to have a very gentle, though intense energy. And so it's a really unique energy. And if you know any Andromedan starseeds, if you have that pleasure of having that rare Andromedan starseed in your life, take a look at their aura. They are said to have very sparkly auras. And so I don't personally know any full Andromedan starseeds myself, but I do have some clients who have a drop or so of Andromedan in them, and they do really radiate and shine. So it's a fun thing to look at if you're listening to this and you're like, oh yeah, my friend sounds just like this. Take a look at their aura. See if you can notice this really special aura that Andromedan starseeds are said to have, because it sounds really amazing to witness. And finally, the other things that you may notice if you are an Andromedan starseed or if you know one, is that they are very private. So it goes back to that, not being the center of attention, not wanting to overstep or, be really involved in ego. So they tend to be very, very private people. Again, not all of our starseed ancestors are like that, but you will certainly see that in your Andromedan starseed friends. And finally, they are always working to empower people. So this is one of the things the Andromedans are known for. Again, goes back to that equality, wanting to empower everyone. So again, this is some of the indications that you may be an Andromedan starseed or know one. And again, they're really special. So if you have the opportunity to know one, work with one, enjoy that, because they are one of our rarer forms of starseed. So hope that gets you a little overview as to what the Andromedans are all about, and stick around for future videos where we meet all the rest of our star family. So hope this helps you. I'll see you soon. Bye.